did you choose to bring Serene-3 together? Is it because of chronic fatigue patients, stress patients? Why did you choose an adaptogenic herb?
I decided to develop Serene-3 because we have an epidemic of people that are not coping with stress. The main thing that I see in my practice is people are coping very poorly with stress, and as a result, they have severe adrenal fatigue, they don't sleep well, they have brain fog, they're exhausted, they have no mental clarity or very little mental clarity. And so I have worked with adaptogens for decades, and I have found there are 3 key adaptogens that work synergistically, and adaptogens simply mean nutrients that enable people to cope with stress. Now this stress includes mental, emotional, psychological stress, as well as physical stress like heat and cold, excessive exercise or exertion, as well as trauma. And it helps us cope with all the stress that we're under. So that's the main reason I developed this product.
So Dr. Colbert, tell me, what are the 3 adaptogenic herbs that you chose for Serene-3?
The 3 adaptogenic herbs that I chose are number 1, Rhodiola, which is also known as golden root, or some call it rose root, but it's the root of the plant. Now it's interesting that this plant grows in sub-Arctic and Arctic areas, cold regions up on the mountains, the sides of mountains and cliffs. Is found up in northern Canada and Alaska and Greenland, and also in Russia and Siberia. In fact, the Soviet scientists and researchers are the main ones who started researching this herb back in the 20th century, and they found this was a very powerful adaptogenic herb. And they actually put many of their elite athletes, Soviet athletes on it, and cosmonauts on it. And this powerful herb is one of the most powerful adaptogens we've seen. And by adaptogenic, I mean it enables us to cope with stress. But not just regular emotional, psychological stress, also trauma, as well as physical stress, including heat, as well as cold, as well as excessive exertion and exercise. And so it's just an amazing adaptogenic herb. The other herb that we use is another root called ashwagandha. And ashwagandha is also known as Indian ginseng. Now this is found in India, it's found in the Middle East and Northern Africa. It's another powerful adaptogen that enables one to cope with stress, all types of stress, and it works synergistically with rhodiola. But it's been used in India for thousands of years in Ayurvedic medicine. So it has tremendous track record in helping control stress. Now, in helping people cope with stress, what we find typically are these patients increase their energy, improve their mental clarity, improve their sleep, and improve their overall well-being. Now, the third adaptogenic herb that we use in Serene-3 is ginseng. But it's not the ordinary ginseng, but it's the root. It's the root of the ginseng, because realizing these powerful adaptogens is the root of rhodiola, it's the root of ashwagandha, it's the root of the ginseng. And again, it's not necessarily in the stems or the leaves. The most powerful is in the root. Now, ginseng has been used for over 5,000 years, and it was grown in the mountains of Manchuria, China. And that's where it came from, Manchuria, China. And again, this is a powerful adaptogen that helps us cope with stress. Again, these are powerful adaptogens that have been used collectively for thousands and thousands of years by people in different regions of the world. Now, what's interesting about ginseng, there's a new form of ginseng called GS15-4. What they have done, they have used specific patented enzymatic extraction methods to extract the ginseng, and in doing so, it improves the absorption. It causes 15 times improved absorption. 15 times increased absorption, which is amazing, as well as 4 times faster. So in other words, it's not going to take hours to feel the calming benefit of the ginseng. It's going to happen in minutes rather than hours. And what's amazing too is the process that's used. The low heat vacuum extraction process retains the majority of the nutritional content, which is totally different from the standard processing method, which is high heat steaming, which destroys many of the nutrients. And the very powerful thing in the GS15-4 is it preserves the root, but also the tiny rootlets. they're tiny hair rootlets on the ginseng plant. Now these tiny hair rootlets are removed in most of the processing methods, but in our processing methods, we preserve the tiny hair rootlets. This is very important because this is where the key bioactive compounds and adaptogens are found. So,
who would you recommend Serene-3 to?
Now, I would recommend Serene-3 to anyone who's stressed. Realize that 75 to 90% of all visits to primary care doctors are for stress-related disorders. And again, if anyone has excessive stress, not coping well with stress, is fatigued, doesn't have the mental clarity they used to have, does not have the energy to exercise, does not just is totally stressed out, those are the ones who need, or if they're suffering from adrenal fatigue, or if they're suffering from major diseases that are stressing them out, those are the ones that really can benefit from Serene-3.